Kia ora, Tina, Kaimai Ward Community Board. Thank you for putting on the event, by the way. Listening to regional council, local council, national government, there are problems. We're facing a lot of problems even in our area. And I just want to hear from you, what do you think is the way forward? Because I've heard all the problems and I've heard all the things we've done wrong, things that we've still got to fix, but what's the way forward? What's the hope?
I'll start quickly. One way forward is that cost of living. All candidates have referred to. When I came into from the orchard this afternoon and turned on the radio, the network news led with a story about capping rates and almost overwhelming support amongst all the parties. We've got an LTP currently in place that sets our path at 8% per annum for the next 9 years. It's unsustainable. It gets to what Rodney talked about, resizing council. We have to make some hard decisions. We can't promise people swimming pools and other extras while we're trying to maintain our roads and all the rest. So that's one way to do it. Sorry.
Very on.
Yeah, I think it's just fairly obvious. The government's putting pressure on us, the taxpayers' union's putting pressure on councils. Q&A had a segment with 4 mayors and councillors recently, and they all admitted that keeping rates to zero or capping rates was almost impossible. So it is a case of the new council will need to focus on the core services. There will be some casualties along the way. The council administration has ballooned. I mean, you look at Tauranga City, our neighbours, and they're currently retrenching staff left, right and centre. I believe we're not quite at that stage, but we do have some fat in the system that needs to be addressed, but also we need to look at our long-term plan. Our long-term plan was set by all of us and, well, the sitting councillors, and we did approve a cumulative set of rates increases that meant that our 3 waters could not be kept in-house, and the finance people in the room who should know these things maybe didn't interrogate that plan sufficiently.
What's the way forward?
Well,
we've heard all this. Yeah. What's the way forward?
We just need to be more rigorous. We need to make the cuts. We need to just bring out the knife, and there's going to be a bit of pain, unfortunately.
Thank you.
We are in for serious local government reform, and we have to be ready for it. And the other thing is that too many of our young people have to go overseas to own a home. And one of the things that we have is that our housing is far too expensive and not affordable, and we need to make more land available so that we can build more houses and so that our young people can stay and live in this area. So reform is the #1 issue, and affordability goes hand in hand with the need for housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Tia, your question seemed to be more about the way forward for council as a whole, because it was sort of gone into debate.
There's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
What's the way out of the problem?
So, as I spoke earlier, the key issues I think they face in the Western Bay are transport, housing and cost of living. Cost of living has been touched on. We do, as a council, need to be nimble as the changes come through from central governments in the waters, obviously, but also in the resource management sphere. Transport, I've talked about making sure that we can advocate for TNL 1 and 2, but there are issues out east as well with Te Puna and the congestion through there, and like Don, I favour the Kaimai bypass eventually. And then housing, like Margaret was saying, we do need to enable housing in order, because the #1 need for people to improve their well-being is housing. We've done it to some extent in Kelly with some, both the elder housing, but also just enabling housing growth in Kelly, finishing off at Mokura, and there's some opportunities out east as well.
I do like that.
So, I just want to understand the question. You talk about council internally, or you talk about broad things?
Broad things, yeah.
Broad
what's
thing.
the way forward?
So one thing that's not going to change is that government's going to use local government as a plaything. So, yeah, you have to just ride with that. I don't know how many times the Local Government Act's been reformed in the last 20 years. It's probably more than Certain people had hot dinners even. So we have to write with what central government does. The drive from central government is housing. It is, Margaret's right, the absolute key need. The fun part for councils has always been the fact you've got to build the infrastructure before the houses come. Anybody who's been in Mokoroa for a while knows this problem they had with the pipeline, right? They built the pipeline, then the global financial crisis came along and the council was left carrying the can, so it's not easy. But you know, we need to make sure we focus on the key things, and housing is the key thing, really. You know, we have a real cost of living crisis in housing in the Western Bay. How do we do that? We do that by making more land available. The only other thing I'll say about internally at council, the way forward is new CEO, strategic top to bottom review, which will happen, you know, I think whoever's mayor, but it's a question of who you trust to actually do it in a responsible way. And then from there, decide with the community, what you want us to focus on. Right? Actually, we need to go out and be a bit more open to listening to what the community wants, rather than trying to set the direction from top down.
Yeah, thank you.
As a way forward, I would see the weaving in of AI technologies to the conundrum that is council, so governance models being able to embrace what AI systems can bring. So AI systems are really good at looking at where overlaps are and where duplication exists. For myself, I would agree with Rodney, I do like that fella, in terms of where the threshold meets, say the AI spits up models, and where the threshold is amendable and recommended and backboned by the community, then we could take that as the starting point to delivering it. I think, on balance, you've got a council that has the experience, but they haven't delivered the solution. I intend to be part of a solutions-focused winning team, and your problem is the culture of the council. Kia ora.